Hi everyone, this is Sarah. Today I'm going to be discussing my culture, which is minimalism. So, minimalism stems from the idea that owning less is more. So, in this case, people might see it as instead of owning 50 shirts of all these different colors, I'm just going to own 5 basic shirts because that means that I'm owning more, I guess, pieces that mean more to me because I'm investing more money in them versus spending less money on thousands of shirts that don't really have value to me. Um, so, on a more personal aspect, that's the way that I see it. I typically like to purchase things that, yes, they're going to be a little bit more pricey and a little bit more of an investment, but I know that in the long run, they're going to last a lot longer to me. So when I think about minimalism, I actually think about my pair of boots, which I'm actually wearing today that you can't see, which is my Doc Martens. When I was living in Florida, I was not making a lot of money because I was working at Disney, but once I got my first paycheck, I decided I wanted to invest in something that made me feel happy, which is my Doc Martens. So at the time, I was making maybe about $300 a week or so. I spent a third of that on these boots, and this was back in 2013. To this day, these boots are my favorite pair of shoes. They've lasted me 7 whole years. They haven't really had any damage to them. If anything, I feel like they've grown to be a lot more comfortable for me. So that's kind of the way that I see minimalism as a whole. It's kind of like investing more in things that are going to last a lot longer and they're going to be more meaningful to you. Um, at the same time, as far as like the community and the way that people view minimalism or the different type of minimalists, I've seen people where they've recorded themselves showing kind of like how much they own, and actually all of their personal belongings fit into one regular size suitcase. So that's kind of like the more extreme form of minimalism. There's honestly no right or wrong way. I think that that's a really great way of seeing things too if you want to be more environmentally friendly, and also consider that you don't really need a lot of things to survive on a day-to-day basis. At the same time, you have other minimalists like myself that believe that, again, if you have a lot of things, that's okay. It just depends on what it is. So, for example, you have minimalists that really enjoy reading. So perhaps they don't have a lot of furniture, they don't have a lot of clothing items, they don't have a lot of home decor or anything like that, but they do have a large library of books. So that's another thing to consider with minimalism too, is it can go either way. You can have a lot of one thing because it's very meaningful to you and a lot less of everything else that you don't really need, or you can just keep it as basic as possible. So in this case, some minimalists believe in not owning physical books. They'd rather own books digitally. Personally, I'm not like that. I actually like having a physical library, having books that I can see in front of me. But again, stemming from minimalism, if I want to have a huge library, I'm not going to go to a bookstore and buy a new book. Instead, I'm going to try to find it at one of those family owned or independent bookstores and purchase a book that probably somebody has had for years, because I'm just extending the life of that book instead of wasting material to make another one. So, that's kind of my culture, that at least one of them that I find is really interesting, because there's so many ways of viewing it and there's so many ways of following the beliefs. Thank you for watching, and I look forward to seeing everybody else's speeches.